Hello everyone, welcome back to English 3 practice test. Okay, we're going to continue with the work that we did in the first lecture. Okay. Hopefully by now you have looked at all the questions and given your best answer. We can look at the answers right now. Okay. Number 8. Now, number 8, you probably saw this when you were studying in Unit 8, okay? Asking questions about this. And so the question, why did you join a gym? So a gym, like a helse club. All right, so why did you join a gym? So we're looking for a reason. Okay. In letter A, I joined 2 months ago. Okay, so that would be a when question. Okay, so if anyone's asking about time or anything like that, that would be they'd ask when. When did you join a gym? I joined 2 months ago. Okay, so be very careful with the interrogative at the beginning of the question. B, I joined to get in shape. Okay, so we have an infinitive here showing some kind of purpose in order to get in shape. So get in shape, right, so to improve their physical health. Maybe to get stronger, maybe to improve their breathing or cardio, or maybe to lose weight. Okay, so just to improve their physical shape. Okay, so the answer to 8 is B. D, much like A, is incorrect because you're looking at a placement. Okay, so in this case, we're looking at where. Okay, where is the gym? It's next to the supermarket. Okay, so if you're not reading carefully, or if you don't understand every word, you might think that's correct. C, Jim asked me to join him. Okay, now first of all, Jim is usually spelled differently, usually J-I-M. The name Jim is short for James. So why did you join a gym? So this would actually be correct, except you'd have to remove this letter. Why did you join Jim? Jim asked me to join him. Okay, very difficult to say. And if this was a capital letter, that would also. So in C, it sounds like Jim is a person. Again, not to be confused with J-I-M, Jim. Okay. Good. The answer for number 8 is B. Okay. Number 9. What were you doing? What were you going to do this semester? Right. Okay. An appropriate question. And it looks like something we were studying in Unit 3. What were you going to do? What were your plans? Okay. So maybe this semester you had many plans. Okay. So we're looking at the past in something you had studied in the past. Okay. Okay, this is something that we in the English teaching business call future from the past. Okay. So the past, my plan was to do something. Now it's changed. Oh, okay. So you didn't do it. What were you going to do this semester? Okay. Now B is incorrect. It's totally in the past. So what did you do this semester? I went downtown. Okay. That's a short semester. Okay. If you're doing it now or in the future, okay, you could use the continuous present tense. I'm going to Japan. So what are you doing this semester? Or what are you going to do this semester? Yeah. What are you going to do this semester? That sounds like the future. Okay. What were you going to? We're talking about the past, but again, your future plans in the past. Okay. And C is just plain future. What are you going to do this? What are you going to do this semester? I will go to school. Okay. So actually that would be a good answer if this was the present. Okay. D is the obvious answer. What were you going to do? I was going to, what's the verb? Join. I was going to join. I was going to join a club. Okay. But no dice. Okay. I was unable to join a club this semester. Okay. All right, so the answer for 8 is B. The answer for number 9, D. Okay, number 10, just quickly. Will we return to campus? Okay, so a question about the future. This is a style of question you might see on the test. What we're looking at here is structure. Okay, so maybe we're not supposed to do this in multiple choice questions, but we're looking to see if you remember structure. So this is kind of a rare question, and it will test whether you know it or not. Is certain whether we will return. Sorry, is uncertain whether we will return. A would be fine. You're just missing one word. Okay. Okay. It is uncertain whether we will return. So that would be a good answer, but we're missing the opening it, and so that will be incorrect. Okay. Another way to say this, it is uncertain whether we will return. Whether we will return is uncertain. Okay. So notice in both of these, okay, so in letter D, you have a subject, you have an adjective. Okay. Then you have the be verb in between. Okay. This is much the same. You have a subject, you have the be verb, and then you have the adjective right there. Okay. But this whole adjective clause becomes the subject in this sentence. Okay. You can find more about that in Unit 5, where we discuss this very unique and rare structure. We will return whether it is uncertain. That was almost correct. Whether we'll, okay, so that's, I'm not sure why we're ending in a verb. Usually in Korean, maybe the verb goes at the end. In English, it doesn't, okay? Certainly in a long sentence. Will we return to campus? Whether we return to campus is uncertain. Okay, so I'm going to pause it here. Let's go to the other homework page, and we can finish with the lecture at that time. Okay. All right, so you've opened up the other homework, and it's the second half of the test. We have 2 more multiple choice questions. Then we're going to look at some long answer questions as well. Okay, let's check out number 11. Number 11, okay, so you got to fill in the blank. You've given 4 choices. If I blank more careful, I would make fewer mistakes. Okay. How about A? If I am more careful, I will make fewer mistakes. So that sounds like the first conditional. So if this word was will, okay, using the present tense form of the modal, then this would be the present tense as well. If I were more careful, I would make fewer mistakes. Okay. All right. So looking at that, we wouldn't use the past tense so much. Okay. And letter C, if I had been more careful, I would make fewer mistakes. If I would have been more careful, I would make fewer mistakes. So the answer here is B. Okay. If I were more careful, I would make fewer mistakes. This is what we call the second conditional, and it is where we are talking about hypotheticals, okay? Just not referring to one specific incidence, okay? With A, the first conditional, if I am more careful, okay, so you're just talking about general rules about myself, okay? If I were more careful, I would make fewer mistakes. Sounds like I don't plan on being more careful, but in that other world where I was more careful, this would happen. Okay? All right. Now, C and D are there to confuse you, and you can kind of see in number 12, we're looking at the third conditional, okay? And some of the answers are the same. So you have a past tense, you have a modal with the verb, and a modal with have and the past participle, okay? So you can see similarities between the D answers and the B answers in both, okay? Okay, and there are other similarities as well, okay? Now, the differences here, in 11, the if clause comes first, okay, and the modal clause comes second. And that's the same here. The difference is we're looking at different, look at the different spaces here. So if you had given me, okay, and that is much the same structure as here. So for 11, if you'd written the answer C, this would have had to have been, I would have made fewer mistakes. Okay, I think I've given away the answer for number 12. Number 12, if you had given me his phone number, I could have spoken to him right away. Okay, so the answer is D. So in 12, we're talking about situations in the past, okay? If something had happened differently in the past. So past, you're looking at different views of completed actions in the past, okay? If you had given me his phone number, I could have spoken to him right away, okay? Try these other ones. The first conditional, if you give me his phone number, I can speak to him right away, okay? Okay, if you gave me his phone number, okay, I could speak to him right away. And, okay, so if you had given me, okay, so again, so we're looking at the past and something that's completed in the past, okay? So we're using the past perfect here, and the modal clause will have the modal, the verb have, and then the past participle. Okay, so the answer for 12 is D. And you can find this for number 11, you can check out chapter 11 in your book, and for number 12, oddly enough, chapter 12. Okay? All right, so review those chapters to help you with this grammar. Okay, let's move down to part 2. Question number 1, when are you going to finish your exams? Okay, so it's a question. So it's an open question. So you're going to have to answer this using, as it says here, a full and complete sentence. Okay. So again, if you write the answer, when are you going to finish your exams? Tomorrow. Boo. Okay, right? All right, so it's just a single word answers will be marked wrong. Okay, so instead of 2 points, you'll get 0. Ooh. 0. Okay, all right, so let's try this again. So you can use the answer tomorrow. Okay, but you need a complete sentence. So when are you going to finish your exams? Let's start with the subject, and we'll go straight to the verb. So when are you? Well, I'm answering the question, so I. Okay. Okay. So I, and the verb, be going to. Okay, the conjugated form, I am going to. What's going on here? There you go. I am going to. Okay, and so that's the tense. We'll put in the verb. So we have the subject, and we have the verb in the proper tense. Okay, so we're going to use the future tense. I am going to, with the future. The verb is finish. My exams. Tomorrow. Good. So a lot of the information is in the question. We know the subject. We have the verb tense here. Okay. We know the verb. And we know the object as well. All right. Question number 2. When do you expect to graduate? Okay. So at number 2, we're looking at a time frame. Okay. And expect to. So we're looking at, much like in the earlier question, we looked at plans. Okay. In number 2, the plan is starting right now. Okay. And we're going to find out an answer for you. So again, you can't give a one-word answer, but if you're thinking of the answer, when do you expect to graduate? Maybe a possible answer could be next year. Okay. Or maybe for many of you, the answer maybe the answer will be 2022. Okay. Okay. So again, we can't have the one-word answer, so we'll just try and figure out something else to add in here. So we know the subject, I, and the verb, expect, or expect to. So to is not a verb, but that it's almost like a lexical phrase. Okay. All right. So I expect to graduate. Okay. Much in the same way as I plan to graduate or I'm going to graduate, you're talking about a future plan. Okay. So I expect to graduate 2022. And what's the preposition? Okay. Remember question number 1? In. Okay. Expect to graduate in 2022. Okay. I expect to graduate 2 years from now. Okay. I expect to graduate this February. Okay. I expect to graduate next year. Okay, so there could be more than one answer. Okay. But you're going to be looking at this structure right here. I expect to graduate. When do you expect to graduate? I expect to graduate when. So you have all the information here. You're looking for this information. You forget the auxiliary verb because it's a positive sentence. All the information is here. Okay, and that's how you can answer these information questions. All of these are information questions. They're open questions. They begin with an interrogative. Okay. Number 3, what is interesting about Busan? Okay. Okay. So what is interesting about Busan? In this case, you might have to decide on what it is. To me, the great beaches. Okay. Okay. So the great beaches, we need a verb. Is. The great beaches is interesting. Okay. Now, on your test, you're not going to have this sort of grammatic help here. There we go. Great, great beaches are. All right. So it's a be verb. It has to match with your subject with the plural s. Okay. If you want to say Guangali Beach is interesting, or Haeundae Beach is interesting, that's great. Okay. But I mentioned the beaches. Okay. So there's many great beaches. So the beaches are interesting. Okay. Okay. Now I left out this part. Yeah, so we probably don't need that. So maybe the question should be, what about Busan is interesting? Okay, but often we would write it this way. So what is interesting about Busan? The great beaches are interesting. And that is something we studied in Unit 5. Okay. Good. All right, number 4, what country do you want to visit the most? All right, so again, the information we're looking for is right here. We need the name of a country. Okay. Again, we can get rid of the auxiliary verb in the answer. So we have the subject, and the verb is right here. And again, we have this sort of modal phrase here. All right, so with that, we can figure out what we're going to write. Okay, so what country do you want to visit the most? All right, what country do you want to visit the most? Let's try and figure out the name of a country you want to visit. Let's just say India. Okay. In fact, I don't think that'll come at the end there. So what's the subject? I want to visit India. Okay, good. What country do you want to visit the most? I want to visit India. Okay, that sounds like a good answer. You could also add in the end part as well. So want to visit the most, at the highest level of interest. Okay, that would be India. So I want to visit India more than any other country. Okay. So if you just say I want to visit India, I think we understand that's the answer to this question. Okay? It's a complete sentence. This gives us, by repeating it, we understand exactly what you mean. Okay? Okay. You could add in other words if you want. Okay? So that'd be, you don't even need that one as well. Okay? It shows how much you want to visit. So you're describing the act of wanting to visit. Okay? Good. I'll just leave it like this. Okay, so there's many different answers for number 4. Okay. Number 5, what would you do if you found 100,000 won on the street? Okay, so again, you can see this if clause right here. If you found 100,000 won on the street, what would you do? Okay, so you can mix these clauses around. Just make sure you have the proper punctuation. Okay. Good. So, what would you do? Okay. So we're just going to answer this last part here. I would do. So what would you do? I would do what? Okay. Maybe I'll highlight that as well. What would you do? Again, the if clause is here. So what would you do? I would do what? I would buy dinner for my friends. Okay, I would buy dinner for my friends. I would buy gifts for my friends. I would buy soju for my friends. Okay, whatever you want to buy for your friends. Okay, You could do something else. I would donate it to UNICEF. Okay, so many different ideas. I would save it in the bank. Okay, which we talked about in one of the earlier questions. Okay. So that's what I would do. So what would you do? I would do this. Okay. I would do this. Okay? I would save it in a bank. I would spend it on my friends. I would donate it to charity. Okay. And at the bottom here, I've written a review because we're covering all units of the textbook, units 1 to 12. And again, your test will have 35 questions, 30 multiple choice of 1 point, and 5 questions with 2 points. Okay, so 5 2-point questions, that's 10. 30 1-point questions, that's 1. 30 plus 1 equals 40. Okay, all right. So that should give you an idea of what to do on the test, how to answer the questions. Now these questions are different than the questions on the test. I'm not giving you the questions now, but it's this style of questions. Okay, so we're going to be multiple choice that covers units 1 to 12, and there's going to be some long answers. So these questions you won't see on the test, but very similar. Well, you'll see questions from units 1 to 12. Okay, so on the test, do your best, and hopefully you can figure out the answers when you get to the test. Okay, don't worry, I'm sure you will do very well on the exam. Okay, so thank you very much. I'm sorry about the semester. I applaud you for studying hard and pushing through. And good luck on your test. Good luck on all your other tests. Okay, and we'll maybe talk to you next semester. All right, good luck.